The thing that I was amazed by is that you are so famous and such a global icon and such a familiar face that I'm amazed at how quickly we forgot about Oprah Winfrey and we saw Gloria Gaynor, the character. How did you do that so quickly in the film?
Well, I think my greatest acting lesson, that time I couldn't cry and I was crying all night, and Adolph Caesar was, you know, famous actor, and he was also in The Color Purple, played Danny Glover's father. Right. And he was on the opposite side of the wall for me, and he came to my room and said, "What's all this noise, girl?" And I said, you know, Steven Spielberg had asked me to cry, and I couldn't cry, and I know he's going to throw me out of the movie. And he said, give yourself over to the character. You have to learn to, you know something about that, to give yourself over to the character. Let the character take control. And if she wants to cry, she will cry. And if she doesn't want to cry, not even Steven Spielberg can make her. So I learned to give myself over to that space that was Gloria.
Lee Daniels, the director,
Daniels.
Wonderful. Now, he said he was terrified to give you a critique. Now, why was he terrified of you?
Well, I think because of that Oprah thing. You know, people think that I think that people think that because I've run my own show and have my own businesses and run a network, that I have the need to be in control. Well, I really don't. What I have the need to is to surround myself with people who know what they're doing and are willing to do it.
So you're a perfectionist.
I'm not a perfectionist. There's a difference.
Striving for excellence.
There's a difference between people who want excellence and people who are perfectionists. Perfectionists are really the opposite of what they appear to be.
And a vision.
Nothing can ever be right for perfectionists.
Oprah, while you were filming this film, you were also doing your own show at the same time.
I was also doing my own network, which is really, that's one of the reasons I'd said to him, I don't know if I can do that, because it's, you know, I have a day job.
Yeah.
And, you know.
So you were flying backwards?
I was going back and forth. I literally had done that funeral scene and got up, took my funeral clothes off and got on a plane and went and interviewed.
How do you do that?
Regrets about that, about not like just giving yourself completely over to the film?
Yes, I do have regrets about it, and I will never do it that way again. I had to learn the hard way that if you're going to submerge yourself into a character, that's what you need to do.
Put your own life on hold for a little bit.
And put your own life on hold.
And you also need to be with the actors that you're working with.
Yes.
You know, to create.
Well, there's a reason why actors have a day off. I'd learned that. That's why, because you need time to unpack all of that emotion.
And you have to have relationships with them and create relationships.
That's right. It is its own family, as you know.
How did you build the relationship that you ended up having with Forest Whitaker? Because he's quite a private, quiet man.
He's a very interior guy, yes.
The chemistry's amazing.
Well, thank you.
Amazing. I don't know what's going on.
I worked at it.
You worked at it?
I worked at it.
On your own?
Yes, because I'd done a movie in 1998 called Beloved and literally walked on the set that morning, and it was with Danny Glover, and they say, which side of the bed do you want? So, and you got to go, hi, Danny, we're going to be in bed together. Okay, I like to roll that way. So I decided I didn't want that. I wanted to have real chemistry that started from a basis of some kind of connection or friendship or something that was authentic. So in the morning, he would come in and he would, you know, he would put his headphones on as a way of saying, I don't want to talk to anybody. And everybody go, oh, don't talk to Forrest. He's going in. He's in character. And I would just sort of ease my way over and then go behind him and rub his shoulders and just stand there and rub his shoulders. Sometimes sitting on set, I would purposely go and sit next to him. I'd put my hand on his knee and start rubbing his knee. Just rubbing his knee.
You're lucky you got away with that.
No, I called his wife first, and I said, look, I'm trying to build a relationship. And also,
did it work?
And it actually worked. I would wait for him outside the trailer. I would say to the production assistants, let me know when he's coming out of the trailer. And I'd just be standing there, and he'd say, what are you doing?
Stalking.
Yes, what are you doing?
You're not going to stroke me again,
no,
are you?
no, I'm just waiting to walk to set with you. I wanted to walk to set with you. And sometimes we would walk and we would talk, and sometimes, this is how you know when you've made a connection with someone. You know you've made a connection when you don't have to say anything. Years ago, in 2002, I'd gone to South Africa to do some charitable work. I wanted to do Christmas kindness, and Nelson Mandela asked me to stay at his house. Well, for God's sakes, what on earth do you take Nelson Mandela? What is it, a candle or some cupcakes? What do you bring to Nelson Mandela's house? I was so nervous, and Stedman said to me, why don't you just try listening? why, that's a novel idea.
Only a husband can say that.
No, he's like, oh my God. He goes, I said, I don't know what I'm going to say. What will I talk about? He goes, why don't you try listening? It's Nelson Mandela. So after about 3 or 4 days, to be able to be alone in the room with Nelson Mandela and not to be, and he and I would read the paper and share a cup of tea. That's when you know you've created a real...
You've done it, yeah.
And you stayed in his actual house with him?
In his actual house! Not only did I stay in his actual house, afterwards I thought I could have written a book, but I, of course, didn't want to, but I had 29 meals with him. I could have called it 29 meals.
You could have done.
Counted the meals.
I counted every meal. It's Nelson Mandela. It's Nelson Mandela.
We get some pretty fabulous guests here on Loose Women. There's plenty more where that came from. Just click here to watch more interviews with a whole range of famous faces. And click here to subscribe. It's free, so you'd be silly not to, really.
About a year and a half ago, I had a talk with Lindsay.
Yep.
I had the everything I wanted to say to you for 35 years.
Oh, brilliant. How long did it take, Stevie?
And I started 1968.
Yeah.
And this was only a year and a half ago. And I worked up